Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ben. Today I'm going to be looking at one of probably the more controversial pieces of electronics that Gibson has released lately. So about a week ago, Gibson dropped the 1959 Humbucker Collector's Edition Series 1 pickup, and it's what they call their most faithful recreation of the PAF pickup yet. They offered 1,000 sets of them for $1,000. And since I had recently just sold a guitar, I figured I'm just going to snatch this up. They actually sold out later that day, and that was a lot quicker than I thought they would. Now, the reason I'm saying that this is one of the more controversial pieces of electronics that Gibson has released lately is the response has been more than lackluster. In fact, I don't think I've seen a positive thing said about them yet. The biggest criticisms, of course, going to the price of them, the limited edition of them, the collectors that will not play them, they'll just hoard them and keep them on a shelf somewhere, the case that they come in. Actually, one of my favorite comments that I've seen so far is, "We've been faithfully recreating PAF pickups for decades now. If we haven't nailed them by now in an affordable, mass-produced manner, then I think it's time to admit that they were never that consistently freaking amazing in the first place." And I think that might sum up a lot of people's frustrations with this release in particular. So lo and behold, the package has arrived already from the Gibson pickup shop. And my wife, when she saw this, she said, "Why is Gibson sending you bread?" And to be honest with you, she's not wrong. It kind of looks like what you'd get at your bakery or something like that. If you're watching this video, you've already seen the packaging, you've already seen what's inside of it, and there's no denying that it is a nice case. But another criticism about it is, what do you do with this case if you do take the pickups out? And well, that's a great question. I don't know. Maybe put the old pickups that you took out of your guitar in this case for safekeeping. But yes, it is a nice case. You've got your two pickups here, you've got some Gibson literature, not a lot going on there. And it is a very nice case. It's got, you know, the pickups there. It's got all the literature. In case you're curious, these are serial number 61, as it says here on the card. Comes with like a PAF sticker that's oversized and a couple fun things in there. Now, one thing that's interesting about Gibson, which is, again, another criticism that I mentioned earlier, is the constant search and reveal of the most accurate PAF. So I'll give you a couple examples. When Gibson came out with the 57 Classics pickups, they said, "The 57 Classic provides warm, full tone with a balanced response, packing that classic Gibson patent applied for, or PAF crunch. They are made to the same exact specs of the originals, including Alnico 2 magnets, nickel-plated pole pieces, nickel slugs, maple spacers, and vintage-style 2-conductor braided wiring." When they came out with the Burst Buckers, they said, "On the shop floor of the original Gibson plant in Kalamazoo, Michigan, the earliest Gibson patent-applied for humbuckers were wound using imprecise machines, resulting in pickups with varying degrees of output and tone. The Burst Bucker line of pickups represents Gibson's drive to recapture the magic of the original patent-applied for humbucking pickups. The Gibson Burst Bucker types 1, 2, and 3 successfully capture the subtle variations of true classic humbucker tone with historically unbalanced coil windings and Alnico 2 magnets." Now, years later, Gibson releases the Custom Bucker line of pickups. "Years of research and testing by Gibson engineers resulted in a formula and process that replicates the sonic magic of the original PAF humbucker. Each Custom Bucker uses Alnico 3 magnets. Like the original patent-applied for humbuckers, the Gibson Custom Bucker uses 42 gauge wire and unbalanced coils that are left unpotted for a historically accurate pickup." And then we get on to the 59 PAF limited edition pickup, which Gibson says, "Using a combination of 3D scanning, scientific analysis, reverse engineering of original examples from the late 50s, and specifications from the Gibson archives, the Gibson pickup shop has developed the most accurate recreation of these acclaimed pickups ever made, right down to the tooling marks on the base plate. They have Alnico 4 rough cast magnets and vintage accurate nickel covers." I've named 4 pickups, 3 different magnets in each of those. One of them's potted, some of them are unpotted. One of them has match windings. The other 3 have unmatched windings. Kind of all over the place exactly what a PAF is. And I guess in the broad scheme of things, that's pretty accurate because it seems like every single one of these is different. The question that I have about any of these pickups that they don't talk about is maybe the lot size that they did the testing from. So when they say they did intense testing for both the Custom Bucker and the 59 limited edition, are we talking about they tore apart like 10 old sets of pickups, hundreds of sets of old 50s pickups? Why does one of them have Alnico 3 magnets and that's the most accurate? Why does the other one have Alnico 4 magnets and that's the most accurate? So I'd like to know these answers, and I just don't think I'm going to get it. I would love it if like Jim DeCola or maybe Caesar or somebody wants to explain this because I'm sure I'm not the only one that is curious about this. Now, one of the biggest criticisms about these pickups is people are worried that collectors are going to buy them and stick them in a display case and that's how they're going to live. Well, I am going to put these in a guitar and it's going to be a Les Paul. I don't know which Les Paul. I don't have that Les Paul, but I can tell you that I'm saving up for it, and when I see it, that's where these will go. Maybe a nice T-burst, maybe a lemon burst. I'm up for suggestions if you have them. But I am going to put these pickups in a guitar today because I do believe that they should get used. And what guitar is that going to be? This, my $400 Relish Trinity guitar. Rest in peace, Relish. If you didn't hear, they have unfortunately ceased operations. Now, my test is actually going to pit these against some other PAF best ever made pickups. And I will do the custom buckers from Gibson. I do have a set of those that I'm going to also wire up for the Relish. And I'm going to do some Seymour, Duncan, Seth lovers because out of all three of these are the most affordable. 250 bucks a set, about 500 bucks a set for the custom buckers, and obviously $1,000 for these, which are no longer available, surprisingly enough. Now, to answer the obvious question, I'm sure people are going to say, why are you putting these in that cheap guitar? The answer is there is no right answer. If I was going to put them in a Les Paul Standard, somebody would say it should be in a Les Paul Custom. If I was going to put it in a Les Paul Custom, somebody was going to say, why didn't you put it in an R9? I felt like it was a you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't kind of thing. So for me, I'm putting them in the Relish Trinity because I can wire them up, and on the spot I can swap them out for tonal variances and things like that. Whereas, let's say I'm playing with the custom buckers for 25 minutes, then I got to spend another 25 minutes taking the strings off, soldering in another set of pickups, restringing it back up. And I think when you put time between comparisons, not just in the way it sounds when it's recorded, but the way you're playing, the way they feel, the way you react with them, I just don't feel like that's an accurate representation of A-Bing pickups next to each other. So let's say in this case, this is a Dirty Fingers pickup, and I can just slap it on in there, and booyah, Dirty Fingers. And I hope to do that with the 59s, the Seth lovers, and the custom buckers. So I'm gonna get to wiring these up, and I'm gonna do some recording, and I will get back to you guys after that. All right, so let's go over a couple stats for these pickups before I begin. So for the Gibson PAF 59s, for the neck pickup, I'm getting a 7.69, and for the bridge, I'm getting an 8.17, putting me in the middle somewhere around 3.99. For the Seymour Duncan Seth Lover PAF clones, for the neck, I'm getting a 7.22. For the bridge, I'm getting a 7.93. And in the middle here, I'm getting a 3.81. Now for the custom buckers, I'm getting a 7.61 in the neck, a 7.92 in the bridge, and a 3.91 in the middle position. Guys, that is the Gibson 59 Humbucker PAF limited edition series 1, whatever it's called, versus the Seymour, Duncan, Seth Lover PAF copies and the custom buckers, also from Gibson. Let me know which one you think sounded the best, which one was your favorite, what you did like about one, what you didn't like about the other. Now, ironically for me, I think the Seymour, Duncan, Seth Lovers were probably my favorite sounding when it was clean. I thought it was a really good overall balance in terms of the lows, the mediums, and the highs. Whereas when I was playing distorted, I thought that the custom buckers actually were my favorite. They had a really nice crunch to them, whereas when they were clean, I thought they were a little over bassy. All right, guys, thanks for checking out the video. Next time.